Welcome back to Down the Movie Rabbit Hole with Alexis, where we pick a random actor from the prior review's credits and a random movie from their catalog to decide what to watch next. We repeat this for the next movie and then the next, and we never know where we're going to land. This is the movie Rabbit Hole. We started with Weapons, written and directed by Zach Kreger. Scarlett Schur led us to our second stop, 2019's Hustlers. Then Vanessa Aspalaga led us to today's pick, A Journal for Jordan, directed by Denzel Washington and starring Michael B. Jordan and Chanté Adams. On the surface, it's a romantic drama about love, loss, and legacy. Underneath, it's really a film about memory, masculinity, and the way stories can outlive us. And the big question today is, does the movie do justice to the true story, or is it just Oscar bait wrapped in a uniform? Background. The film is based on Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Dana Canedy's memoir about her partner, First Sergeant Charles Monroe King, who kept a journal for their infant son while deployed in Iraq. The journal by King, who didn't survive, became a literal inheritance for his child. On paper, the script is half romance, half war movie, half parenting guide. Yes, that's three halves, and the movie's challenge is reconciling them into one whole film. Directing. Denzel's directing style here is polite, classical. He trusts his actors the way an old-school cinematographer trusts a 50mm lens. Plant it, let the performances breathe, and don't cut unless necessary. This creates a sense of permanence, which fits because the journal itself is the emotional spine. It's a movie about words meant to outlive their writer. Cinematography. Maryse Alberti, who shot The Wrestler, goes warmer and softer than usual. The New York romance scenes are honeyed, glowing tungsten. The Iraq sequences are stark, blown out, almost sandblasted. The war action scenes aren't gritty like Saving Private Ryan. They are more like Instagram minus the filter. Romantic scenes rely on close-ups, emphasizing connection and touch. In contrast, Iraq's shots are wide, isolating Charles. This underscores both his physical and emotional distance. It's simple but effective visual storytelling. Editing. Hughes Winborn, the Oscar winner behind Crash, crosscuts between the courtship and deployment timelines. Instead of building tension the usual way, the cross-cutting builds longing. Every cut from Michael B. Jordan's bulletproof vest to Chanté Adams' growing belly silently says, "Time is running out." Sound and score. Sound design keeps war at arm's length. Mortars are dulled, almost like we're hearing the memory of war instead of war itself. Some people will hate that, but it matches the film's thesis. Fatherhood is the front line here, not combat. Marcelo Zarvos's piano-heavy score leans sentimental, major to minor shifts, and strings that bloom whenever Dana reads a letter. It's on the nose, but it supports what Denzel's doing emotionally. Acting. Michael B. Jordan delivers a surprisingly gentle performance. He dials down the swagger, leans into dignity and vulnerability, and you can almost hear the influence of Denzel in the cadence of his lines. Chanté Adams is the emotional anchor. This is a reactive role. Lots of phone calls, letters, grief. And she handles it with subtlety. That ultrasound scene where she swallows twice before speaking, that's real craft. Young Jordan, played by Jalen Christian, shows up in the last act with giant Spielberg kid eyes and sells the emotional handoff. Thematic deep dive. This film is really wrestling with legacy, how the stories we leave behind shape the people who come after us. Charles's journal isn't just a prop. It's a cinematic device linking timelines, linking lives, and linking memory to identities. The movie also pushes back hard against traditional portrayals of masculinity. Charles is a courageous soldier, yes, but Denzel shoots his fatherly tenderness with the same heroic angles as his military strength. Changing diapers and doing push-ups get equal visual treatment. The fatherly images parallel the lessons from the journal, which cast aside all notions of toxic masculinity. Men can cry, cherish loved ones, live with purpose, build up others, have humility, work hard, keep high moral and ethical standards, put family first, cherish time, live in the present, respect others, and he explicitly tells Jordan to respect women. And metatextually, this is Denzel's entry into the emerging dad text genre. Films where fathers prepare their kids for a world they won't get to see. It sits beside Life is Beautiful, but is much more grounded and quiet. Casualty and its aftermath. The film never shows King's death. Denzel avoids the classic body bag war movie shot. Instead, we get a call and a match cut to an empty chair during Christmas. It hits harder because it's restrained. The real emotional climax is teen Jordan reading his father's final journal entry. The camera slowly moves in, not on the journal, but on Jordan's face. It's cinematic inheritance in real time, the moment the journal fulfills its purpose. Some critics called it manipulative. I think it's earned because the film spent 2 hours teaching us how to read that tear. Criticisms. The film isn't perfect. The 131-minute runtime drags. The courtship section circles the same will they won't they conflict, even though, spoiler alert, we know they absolutely will because the kid exists. The Iraq sequences feel sanitized, probably to keep the PG-13 rating. A little more grit would have reinforced the stakes behind the journal. And sometimes the lighting leans lens flare heavy, like we're back in 2012. Film Studies Takeaway. For film students, A Journal for Jordan is a great case study in adaptation. How do you translate someone's deeply personal grief into cinematic language without slipping into cliché? How do you balance the two genres, war and romance, while staying faithful to the memoir form? Denzel leans on performance, classical framing, and emotional sincerity. And while the film doesn't always nail its pacing, it absolutely commits to the idea that love and the stories we leave behind can be a form of survival. Bottom line, A Journal for Jordan is a soft-spoken, sincere tearjerker that shines brightest when it focuses on fatherhood and legacy. It's not reinventing cinema, but it's carving space for a Black military love story that Hollywood rarely funds. Outro. What did you think of A Journal for Jordan? Did it do justice to memoir cinema? What other memoir films are among your favorites? To continue down the rabbit hole, I asked ChatGPT for random numbers. 7 and 3 correspond to Mars Hunt Davis, who played Dana's brother, and his third film is Tuscaloosa. Starring Devin Bostick and Natalia Dyer, Tuscaloosa is set against the racial tensions, civil rights movement, the war in Vietnam, and an entrenched patriarchy in 1972 Alabama. A recent college graduate falls for the patient in his father's psychiatric hospital. It sounds like there is going to be a lot to unpack in Tuscaloosa. If you haven't done it already, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss the next showtime. And I will see you down the rabbit hole.